What's up everyone? The veto ceremony has taken place and the impending doom of one house guest may just be around the corner. And has Sarah Beth done damage to her game this week? There's so much to talk about, guys, so welcome to your live feed update. Alright folks, so straight into the veto ceremony. Now we know that Xavier did win the power of veto this week, and it makes complete sense that he decided to use the power of veto on himself, leaving Claire on the block by herself with one space for another nominee to be put in there. And of course folks, if you have been following this week, you'll know that Sarah Beth has made no qualms in putting up Derek X. So there you go folks, our final nominees for the week. I am kind of sad to say are Claire and Derek X, two great house guests that we have this year, and it's going to be a real shame to lose one of them on Thursday night, but such is the game of Big Brother, guys. You know, there's people we like, there's people we don't like, and you know, every single year, you know, you don't like everyone, you don't hate everyone, but everybody has to go apart from two, and only one will win the game. So there you go folks, it's Big Brother taking its natural course, and Derek X is likely going to be evicted from the house this week because he has shown himself to be a huge threat, much bigger than Claire for that matter, and as a result people are going to act on that and send Derek X out the door on Thursday night. Straight after the veto ceremony, Alyssa went right up to the head of household room where Kyland and Sarah Beth are. Where else would there be? Because of course this is basically Kyland's third head of household, and yeah, there's not much more to it. I mean, and I think Sarah Beth even straight up said, I think yesterday, that she did what Kyland wanted her to. So that kind of confirms that it was Kyland's third head of household in essence. And Alyssa kind of went up and she wasted no time to kind of cozy up with them and get all pally. Alyssa is another one who is not playing too great in my mind. She will be picked off over the next couple of weeks and she's not doing anything to counteract it. But you can't do much to counteract it when you don't realise what's going on. So there's that. But anyway, they kind of formed an alliance, the three of them, and they called that the Monarchy. So that should be an interesting one to see how that one goes, because with Sarah Beth and Alyssa being outside of the cookout, they're going to be picked off. So there's probably going to be some feelings of betrayal there, and it's probably going to be on Kyland's part, because Kyland is the one who is kind of still, you know, he's creating alliances still with people outside the cookout, and he's going to have to betray them, and people are going to feel betrayed by that unless we've got a good old sour jury in place for Big Brother 23. I hope that's not the case. Of course, the best player should always win. But I think Kyland's going to have a job getting to the final two anyway, because I think a lot of the people in the cookout do feel quite annoyed with him and his relationship, not like relationship, but just his platonic relationship with Sarah Beth. People find that to be a hindrance on the cookout, and you know, there's been times, you know, when let's cast our minds back to last week when Kyland did become head of household for the second time. Sarah Beth was the universal target in the house, not Brittany. Brittany was not supposed to be the target. Everybody in the house wanted Sarah Beth to go this week, and then everybody went, Kyland's head of household, there's no way in hell he's putting up Sarah Beth. And that came true. He didn't put up Sarah Beth because he's so tight with her. He's doing, you know, he's just going to take her as far as possible. I mean, it even makes you get to the point where you kind of question, when it gets down to the wire, is Kyland going to betray the cookout over Sarah Beth? Because that's very well possible. We've seen these tight duos that are outside, you know, within the cookout and outside, where it's, you know, Tiffany and Claire, or Kyland and Sarah Beth, and Arza and Brittany. But we've seen, you know, Arza's let go of Brittany. Tiffany's more than willing to let go of Claire. Hannah's going to be willing to let go of Derek X. She's not happy, but she's willing to do it. Kyland has not yet been the person to kind of go, I'm ready to get rid of Sarah Beth. Not that we know of, anyway. So it could get down to the wire, like we say, and he decides to take Sarah Beth further than the cookout. That will be a twist and a half, and I think that will just make more and more people in the cookout dislike Kyland, or dislike Kyland's game, and dislike Sarah Beth, because we know Tiffany's been trying to get Sarah Beth out for a while now, and when Kyland won head of household, obviously that derailed that, and then Sarah Beth won it this week, so that derailed it even further. So all these weeks work that she's been putting in, she put in probably about 5 weeks work of, you know, trying to pin a target on Sarah Beth, probably for the most part, and then 2 weeks have gone by and she hasn't been able to do anything. And 2 weeks is half a month. That's crazy, you know what I mean? That's a lot of time, and I would imagine Tiffany next week, if Kyland doesn't win HOH, she'll be hustling to try and get Sarah Beth out again. Mark my words, Sarah Beth has an impending doom in this house unless Kyland decides to take her instead of the cookout. Now, with Claire and Derek X both being on the block, they have bonded extremely tight this week. They've always been quite tight in the house, but this week they've gotten really close, and it's a really nice friendship to see. When the backyard was open, they kind of went out and they were acting basically like just giddy kids, and you know they were really, really excited and just kind of going, "We're free, Brittany, we're coming to the jury house," all that sort of stuff. And they actually said, they listed all the members of the cookout and said, "Do you think they're all working together?" And they basically said, "Yeah, I don't think there's a name to it," which they're wrong about. Obviously, it's called the cookout, but they've cracked it. They've cracked it. There you go, folks. But there's not much they can do at this point. They've said that they're working together, but there's no name to it. But I mean, I think it's kind of like they've cracked it, but there's more to it, if that makes sense. But well done on them, because they're the only people who've managed to do it. I think it's probably too late. If anybody was going to make that dent in the cookout, it was probably going to be Derek X. But you never know, folks. If Claire comes through this week and wins head of household, I would imagine she will put up Carland and Xavier. Of course, Xavier is going to be that third nominee anyway from his punishment. So, you know, I guess maybe don't put up Xavier. It would be Carland and, I don't know, Arza, or I don't think she'd put up Hannah or Tiffany. Probably not Big D, because she shared the block with Big D. And obviously with Big D having so many BB books as well, you know, she's probably going to be reluctant on doing that, of how he could derail that if Claire does become head of household. So I would imagine it will be Carland, Arza and Xavier on the block next week if Claire becomes head of household. And that puts a slice right in the middle. But then I'm sure Tiffany will be able to get in Claire's ear and persuade her to put up Sarah Beth or something like that if someone comes down, or Alyssa or anyone like that. So the cookout are doing an extremely good job of working this game and navigating their way to the end. So yeah, as we say, well done on Claire and Derek X for kind of cracking the cookout, but it might be a little too late. Tiffany has shown that she is basically at the end of her tether with Sarah Beth, because Sarah Beth the other day, a couple of days back, was talking about Avatar, the show, and she was basically, Sarah Beth was saying that she would be a firebender if, you know, she was on the show or whatever. And Tiffany had basically said, like, "What the is fire about you?" And then there was another point as well where she was kind of, she's shown that she's pretty pissed at Sarah Beth, and she said, like, "Sarah Beth and I said that." She is definitely done, and she's holding no qualms. She does not give a basically about Sarah Beth at this point. I think she is realised. Tiffany's the sort of person where if she was outside the house right now, she'd be watching this week and she'd be saying exactly what the majority of viewers are saying about how Sarah Beth's wasted her head of household. Yes, she got Derek X out, but did it do anything for her game? No, it didn't. She took a big threat out, but it wasn't beneficial to her game. No matter how you look at it, it hasn't done anything for Sarah Beth's game. Obviously, she doesn't know that the cookout are happening, so there's not much she could have done. So in her eyes, she's probably thinking she's done something great right now, taking out a big threat. So you can look at it in different perspectives and say, yes, that's a good thing. But when we can obviously see the whole thing that's going on, we can see everyone's games, we can straight up say it was a bad move. And Sarah Beth is probably going to be picked off in the next 1, 2 or 3 weeks. And her chance at the $750,000 is basically non-existent. Tiffany was talking to Arza, saying that when it comes down to the final 6 of the cookout, she thinks that the guys want her out first, her being Tiffany, and Tiffany said that her, Arza and Hannah would work together to counteract that. Now, whilst I don't necessarily think the guys are going to take out Tiffany first, I think she's just being very, very cautious. I think maybe Carland will want her out. Big D definitely will, and Xavier she's shown to be quite tight with, so I'm struggling to believe that one, but there's potential, obviously, because Xavier, Big D and Carland will obviously be looking at splitting it down the middle. Obviously, it's 3 girls, 3 guys, and that's in reality TV shows when it's Survivor or Big Brother, you know, no matter what people say, well, you can't say it's offensive or anything like that. That's naturally been a path that's been paved on these reality TV shows where sometimes there's a guys alliance and sometimes there's a girls alliance, and they want to pick each other off just so they can get to the end. You know, there's nothing offensive about that, nothing like that. It's just, it's how these reality TV shows work sometimes. So, you know, Xavier might just try and take out Tiffany, but I have no doubt in my mind when it comes down to these memory comps that are further down the line, Tiffany and Hannah are going to be the beasts when it comes to this. Xavier could probably give them a run for the money, but Hannah has shown to be a front runner. She has day in, day out pretty much shown that she knows every single thing, every single day and every single competition like the back of her hand. So when it does come down to memory, I think Hannah will be the one to succeed. And Hannah and Tiffany as a final 2 is probably what we're going to be looking at if that does begin to succeed. But I think I stand by what I said when I say that if it does come down to the final 6 of the cookout, I strongly believe that Xavier or Tiffany will win the whole game. That is all of your live feed updates for today, folks. I thoroughly hope you all enjoyed watching. It's been a crazy week in the Big Brother house with an ending that's going to come that a lot of people probably aren't that happy with, but nevertheless, expect the unexpected. It's Big Brother, guys. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think Sarah Beth has been a good head of household? Or do you think it's basically been Kylan's head of household reign? Are you happy with Claire on the block? Are you happy with Derek X on the block? Who should be evicted, Claire or Derek X? There's so much to talk about, guys. So please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. But folks, I will say as I always do, make sure you're staying safe, staying positive and staying healthy out there. And be kind to one another, alright? So folks, in the meantime, please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. Until your next live feed update, I've been your host Tom Vasey. Good night.